Maybe don't know.
This time, next time to build. This 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 time power. This time to build power. This time to build power. This time to build power.
What's up, everybody? I am your host, Chris Hampton.
And this is Nate Drolet.
And together we form Ring and Pinky.
I know this one.
I was going to go Middle and Ring because that's really the team I like. But Ring and Pinky is an exciting combo.
C team.
Yeah, so we are an exciting combo. I'm going to go ahead and say this right now. If you haven't listened to the episode preceding this one, if you're listening out of order, then you're fired. Go back and listen to the top 5 reasons why hangboarding is overrated episode first, and then come to this one. Mm-hmm. And that will make your life much happier.
Really?
No, but it sounded good.
Yeah.
All right, so this is our top 5 reasons why you should use a hangboard. We're not total haters of everything.
No.
Even though I play one on television. I actually do use a hangboard quite a bit, and over the years I've used it a lot. I've spent a lot of time on a hangboard.
Yeah, we were just looking at your Moonfinger board.
Yeah.
All the texture's gone on those crimps.
Yeah, I spent a lot of time hanging on those crimps.
Yeah, man. For good reason.
Yeah, totally. And I think there are lots of reasons why you should use a hangboard. These are our top 5. Mm-hmm. And the number 5 reason is kind of a newer idea, I would say. And that's for recruitment. And what I mean by that is, like, for instance, in this Red River pump prep program that I'm doing with Drew Mack, that's still kind of hard to say, that Drew Mack and I put together and we're having people do, there's not a lot of hangboarding in it, but there is a little bit. There are a few max hangs right before you go limit bouldering. And several people have asked about that. Like, are 4 or 5 hangs enough? Like, why even do them? And my reasoning is because A, Red River Gorge doesn't require a ton of finger strength. So we're going to get a lot of that through hard bouldering. And B, I want you to be able to access your hard bouldering. I want you to be able to pull really hard. I want you to be able to ready to try. And a good way to do that is to do a couple really maximal hangs and then move on to boulders. And recently people have been doing it outside with the tension flashboard. So I think that's a really great use for a hangboard, frankly.
Oh, yeah. And this is something that, I wrote about, called Too Easy to Fail, I think is what it was, the blog post.
Yep.
And without knowing what recruitment was at the time, really, this idea of like recruiting your finger strength and getting everything firing in your forearms so you can then more effectively use them. I really wanted I wanted a hangboard. I was just terrible at measuring things and I hated it. It was the worst. So I was like, what can I do where I'm guaranteed to succeed? Like, there's no way I'll give up on this. I was like, okay, I'll just do 2 really hard hangs every time I go into the gym and I'm trying hard. So, like, I don't know, 3, sometimes 4 days a week, go in, warm up for like half hour, 45 minutes, go do 2 really hard hangs on the smallest edge I could hang. And then I go on with the rest of my day. And my hands got really strong over the next couple of months just doing that.
Yeah, totally.
And it's funny because I wrote a blog about it. I've told a bunch of people. And one really common reaction, a lot of people were like, well, that's not enough time under tension, or it can't be enough hangs to get stronger. And, my response forever was like, well, I don't know what the mechanism is, but like my hands kept getting stronger.
Yeah.
Like, and I could grab smaller holds. And really what was happening was I was just recruiting my finger strength.
And your nervous system is ramping up because it needs to, and that's something Ava and I talked about in my episode with her. The differences between neural and structural hangs and where you should place them in a workout to be most effective. And these types of maximal hangs are very much getting your nervous system fired up. And that's a good thing when you're going to be trying hard.
Yeah. So I was kind of getting my hands ready to really grab small holds. Also,
Yeah.
I was probably getting them used to the pain because I was hanging on like a really small, sharp edge.
Totally.
But yeah, I just did two hangs a day for, I don't know, a couple months, and hands just kept getting stronger. So it was great. And it's something I still do when I go out bouldering. I keep my flashboard with me. I'll hang it up. And I like to do, like 2-3 hangs, just because also, like, if you're trying to warm up for your project, you might not always have
Very often.
perfect tiny little crimps that you can controllably pull on, like load your fingers exactly how you want them.
Yep.
So this is just a nice way, get your fingers ready so you can go project. And it's really time effective.
Yeah. I like that. I like that method a lot. And that made our list. I mean, I think that's a big one.
Yeah.
And then the number 4 reason to use a hangboard is also one of the dangers, because it's really measurable. It's in a sport where not much is measurable. We've made up these grade systems that are vaguely measurable. But hangboarding is extremely measurable, especially if it's in a climate controlled space of any kind. It doesn't have to be this, laboratory climate control.
Hermetically sealed.
Yeah, exactly. If you're hanging in the same location with roughly the same humidity, hangboards are super measurable, and that's a really great way to progress.
Yeah. Like it is important to measure things. Like otherwise you're just kind of shooting in the dark. So it's very important that you measure your progress in different ways in climbing. And one good way to measure progress is with a hangboard. You can say, this time last year I was on this edge with body weight. This year I'm at plus 20 pounds. Like,
yeah,
cool. Like, that's awesome. And by keeping these measurements, you can see that progression. There are a lot of different grip types you can train with hangboarding. So there are a lot of different things. And so the measurability of that is really important in a sport that can be very nebulous, very vague. So yeah, I mean, I think it's awesome.
Yeah, and like you mentioned in the last episode, you can make progress during what seems like a plateau if you just look at it on paper. And a really good way to be able to measure that and see, is my training plan pushing me in the right direction, is using a hangboard to keep consistent measurements, in all of our assessments. Not in all, but in a lot of our assessments, we use a hangboard as one of the main tools, because it's something that everybody has access to, nearly everybody who's contacting us to train.
Another thing that's really great about it is, let's say you want to dedicate more time to climbing, you can use the hangboard, maybe check in once every 2 weeks and just see, like, where's my finger strength at? So, you might even be surprised, like, a lot of people, if they're out and they're trying really hard on hard boulders or maybe even hard routes, they may keep coming back every 2 weeks and be like, oh, my hands are actually getting stronger.
Yep.
Or maybe they're like, well, my hands aren't getting weaker while I'm doing this, so that's cool.
Yeah, and if you're a Red River climber and you don't hangboard all season, you might see that your hangboard numbers drop off the bottom of the chart dramatically.
Suddenly you don't hang on the holds. But yeah, measurability. It's like, it is in this sport, hangboarding's pretty much the lowest hanging fruit that I can think of as far as measurable gains.
Yep, totally. And, that measurability of it leads right into our number 3, which is, it's a fucking fantastic tool for rehab situations.
Yes.
If you're a climber, you're going to get a finger injury at some time. If you're trying even moderately hard, someday you're going to injure your finger in some way. And I've heard so many people that it drives me crazy say, oh God, don't go anywhere near a hangboard when you've got an injured finger. I hear my clients all the time will be like, my finger feels tweaked, so I'm skipping hangboarding. I'm just going to boulder.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, that's the opposite. I want you to go and hangboard.
Yeah.
If you've got a tweaked finger, an injured tendon or pulley or whatever, the best protocol for rehabbing it is measurable progressions.
Yeah.
And a hangboard is the best way to do that.
Yeah. Because if you have an injury and you're trying, obviously go to a physical therapist first, find someone to work with. But once you get cleared to start having to be able to stress it again, that's what you're looking for, is a gradual increase in load.
Yep.
So the wonderful thing about hangboarding is you can start by saying, okay, like I had to take 20 pounds off. I can hang this edge and maybe I have mild discomfort, or, I'm just on the edge of having some mild discomfort.
Mm-hmm.
And you can keep slowly using less and less weight until eventually you might say, oh, I'm at plus 20 pounds
Yep.
with that same level of discomfort. So you've just gone 40 pounds of improvement.
Mm-hmm.
And because it's very controlled, it's incredibly measurable. It's a great tool.
And I'm lumping no hang devices in here too.
For sure. And that's what I've always used for anytime I'm rehabbing something, or if I'm dealing with a slight tweak.
I mean, when you were injured this last time after Waco, what weight did you start at holding on your tension block?
2.5 pounds.
2.5 pounds.
Yeah.
Right. I think when I had my last finger injury, I started with a Nalgene that was like quarter full of water. And that's all I could hold with a flexed finger without major pain.
Yeah.
And gradually over the course of a few weeks, I was holding two full Nalgenes, then 3 full Nalgenes, and then I could hang on it. So I just kept progressing from there.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, just gradual loading. And man, hangboarding's wonderful for that. Same thing with like the tension block, like a no hang device.
Yep.
It's
safer. It's safer, people.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense. Like you can pull on in complete control. You're not moving. You're not shifting. Yeah.
You're not risking your feet blowing off and overloading your fingers suddenly.
Yep.
There's all sorts of things that could go wrong if you're just bouldering.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you might have all the good intentions on the planet and pull onto this boulder and say, oh, well, that hold looks like it might be a little tweaky. I'm not so sure about it. I'll see what it feels like when I get there. But then you're in flash mode because you just made it through the crux moves and you're like, fuck it, I'm pulling,
Yeah.
And then you're going to hurt yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And if you just avoid that altogether and spend time rehabbing on a tool that's really easily measurable, like a hangboard or no hang device, you're much safer than if you're just going bouldering with your finger injury.
Yeah. And I would also say, in regards to safety, if you're trying to develop a new grip for you, this can be a wonderful way to do it. Like, because you can take weight off. Let's say, I don't know, you have to do like ring finger monos for some.
Well, I have tons
reason.
of people do front 3 and back 3.
I was going to say,
and lots of people have a really hard time just hanging off 3 fingers.
Yeah.
They're like, well, this feels tweaky to hang off, just 3 fingers. And I'm like, that's exactly why we're doing it. Because I don't want you to be on a boulder and have your pinky pop off and then strain your fingers.
Yeah.
Because your pinky popped off. I'd rather get you strong here where we can gradually progress.
Exactly. And so that's something that I'm a huge believer in, is developing a wide array of grip styles, just so that you can have more robust hands.
Yeah, except for having your pinky on, that's pointless.
Those are worthless. Use your pinkies. But yeah, so it's a great way to develop new grip styles as well in a safe way.
Yeah. And our number 2, and this is a big one. Lots of people we work with are like, I don't have access to a climbing gym. Like, okay, if you don't have a hangboard, what the hell are you going to do? You know? And so either time, because it can be really time efficient, or space. If you live in a little apartment, you can't go to a climbing gym, all you've got space for is a hangboard, or location. Maybe you don't have a climbing gym available. Believe it or not, there's still places in the country where you have to drive an hour or more to get to a climbing gym.
Yeah.
So having a hangboard can be a really massive benefit.
Yeah. No, it's one of those things that a lot of people can. I took it for granted forever, because when I lived in Chattanooga, I was walking distance from TBA.
Sure.
So like I had a hangboard, but I really just used it for warming up before I went outside. I never had the need. But like since then, there's been plenty of times where I just don't have access.
Yep.
Like I either don't have access to a climbing gym, or it might be an hour's drive with traffic to get to a gym, maybe an hour back, something like that. And it's like, oh, like I can just knock out a hangboard workout in the next 45 minutes, like a quality workout, and then get a rest day in, and then I can climb 2 days from now.
Yeah. And when I was training to climb 514, when that was my big goal, I knew I needed more training time than I had. And I knew I needed to train at a time when I had more energy, because I was working a full-time job painting murals, and I was trying to do my climbing sessions after that. And being on a fucking ladder all day, looking at a ceiling, with your right arm raised above your head for 8 hours is not conducive to a really great training situation. So I spent a lot of mornings. I would get up at 5 a.m. and do a hangboard session before I went to work.
Yeah.
And having that availability was massive for me. So I think if that's a lot of people's number one.
Yeah. And it exactly like what you were just saying with your own, like you can have these snack sized workouts.
Yeah.
You can just kind of
big snacks.
Yeah. Like the whole sleeve of Oreo kind of snacks. I don't know why
that
that's
sound good right now.
I know. I was just thinking that. Why is that not just like the actual serving size? Like I need it by the sleeve. Don't tell me it's 2 Oreos. Get out of here.
Size, 1 sleeve.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah,
super
like
important.
these snack size workouts you can get in, because you can do like strength endurance, power endurance, like all these different things on a hangboard. And yeah, it's great for that. Also, it's useful kind of fitting in with this if you have another injury, like let's say you broke a leg.
Yeah. Yeah.
Man, this is a great way, like never waste an injury.
Yeah.
Like plenty of people have, broken an ankle, broken a leg, only to come back way stronger because they spent their time hanging off a board.
Yep. And then those people need to go listen to the other episode right away, because they don't need to hangboard anymore for the moment.
Hopefully they're just chomping at the bit to go and rock climb.
Yeah, totally. And our number one reason is kind of a duh reason, but finger strength, or, finger strength endurance, or whatever it is you're training on it. As long as, I shouldn't say whatever it is you're training on it, because there's some things that just aren't as easily trainable on a hangboard, but for the things it's really accepted for. Alpinism would be hard to train on a hangboard.
But it would probably be more fun on a hangboard.
We did at a gym in Cincinnati, Climb Time, where I started climbing at. Ray and I had taken a hangboard, the station where the hangboard was. It had a perfect 4-inch crack in between the 2 hangboards, and we off-width trained there. So
that's awful.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
There's no such thing as a perfect 4-inch crack.
But finger strength and strength endurance. So max hangs, repeaters, those 2 workouts are really widely accepted as beneficial and valuable. And as far as your fingers go, there's not a better way to train those things.
Yeah. It's effective. It's efficient. Gets the job done. Rock climbing, we got to grip some grabs.
Yeah.
Like the stronger your hands are, stronger your forearms are, like better off you're going to be.
Oh yeah. It's factual. If the holds feel like jugs, then you'll pull them like jugs, and you'll climb like they're jugs. And that's great.
Yeah. Like I've never thought, man, it's a shame my hands are so strong right now. If you're still climbing plenty, like added finger strength, it's a plus.
Yep.
So yeah, hangboarding, great way to get stronger.
Yeah. Kind of a duh reason.
Yeah.
You guys already sort of knew that, but that's the best reason to use it. Yeah. Do you know who made the first hangboard? Do you know?
The guy from Cats.
Rob was
That's
what I was
guess.
wondering. Rob Candelaria. I wonder if he made the first hangboard.
It's one of the first ones I heard about.
I'm sure there were several versions and varieties of that sort of tool around. His is definitely the first one I heard of. And,
yeah.
It's a brilliant brilliant invention.
Yeah. Though I'm sure plenty of people were like doing pull-ups on door jams.
Yeah, and I've heard of lots of climbers like going out to their project and just, working it until they could hang on to this specific crux hold. Like on a boulder project, I'm just going to go out and until I can one arm hang on this hold.
Whoa.
I'm not going to try the project. And then they would just crush the thing. And really, that's just an early form of how we currently use hangboards.
Yeah.
To some degree. So if you want stronger fingers, it's a really good thing. And if you didn't listen to my advice in the beginning of this episode and you haven't gone and listened to our top 5 reasons why hangboarding is overrated, unsubscribe yourself right now. No, I'm kidding. Don't do that, please. In fact, subscribe your friends.
Steal their phone.
Steal their phone, subscribe them, stealthily put their phone back in wherever you found it from. Take some pictures first. Take some interesting photos. But go listen to that episode if you've not, because hangboard is not the only tool you should be using. It's not a panacea.
Yeah.
As you said.
It's an amazing tool.
It's an amazing tool. Not the only one.
Mm-hmm.
So go listen to that episode. And then when you're done with that, come and find us at powercompanyclimbing.com. You can find Nathan Drolet on the Instagrams at Nate Drolet. That's Drolet. Drolet.
Yes.
Drolet.
Draw it.
You can find Nate Drolet. And at Power Company Climbing is where you can find me and the whole crew on the Instagram, the Facebook, and the Pinterest. I haven't been on the Pinterest in a minute, but I do need to go see what's happening over there. And you can look for us on the Twitter. In fact, you can just scroll through the Twitter in between your hangboard sets, but you're not going to find us there because we don't tweet. We scream like eagles.
This time, this time, this time, this time, this time to finish. 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 This time to finish.